Hello, Steve Mills here. It's fantastic to be back on my results podcast, sharing with you some more tried, tested and proven ways to grow your business. I'm really lucky today to be interviewing someone again. It's great to be, I love the format of doing, getting on here, talking myself, but it's also even better, I think, to bring in experts from various sort of marketing disciplines. And I'm here today with a lady that we've only just really got to know each other a little while ago, but already we were just saying, we've got a real bond, and we feel as though we get on great. And we met on LinkedIn. That's really cool, I think. And she's been very kind to give up her time today to come on to my podcast. Her name is Rachel Taplin from Media Matchmaker. So welcome to the conversation, Rachel. And again, thank you ever so much for being here.
No, it's an absolute pleasure. Thank you. And yes, isn't it? LinkedIn's great, isn't it? And then you just click with some people. I just said, sadly, we're very old school, aren't we? And we know all the new stuff, but we've got all the old school values as well.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. So that's fantastic. So obviously, we all know about the tough times that we're all going through right now and how the world's changed, and no doubt will continue to do so. I've been trying to spread the word about how incredibly important it is right now to still be marketing your business, even though, if you do, it's probably not going to be that there's thousands of leads coming in. But in a way, just to maintain what you've already got, you've got to do more. It's when one of the biggest mistakes I see businesses making right now is they think, oh, well, times are tough, so I'll stop marketing. And actually what they should be doing is, times are tough, so I need to double the amount of marketing just to stand still, really. And I know you because of the conversations we had, and it's certainly something that I really believe in, that PR is a fantastic opportunity right now.
Yeah, it is. I mean, PR has actually in the last few years anyway been a forgotten marketing tool.
Yeah.
But everybody's doing their social media and their newsletters, and because they're trying to reach new communities and also constantly give value to their own communities. But if they took that content one step further and sent it to the media, they're reaching a whole load of new people and offering great connections and content at the same time. It is a difficult time at the moment. I think we're all settling into it now. I know I am as well. And actually, I'm getting so many inquiries because people are now working on their business and knowing they need to retain their customers and support them. We want to, we're going through, 1 minute it's panic and then it's positivity, isn't it? It's that kind of swing, isn't it?
And I even feel as though I myself, I get up in the morning, I think, oh no. And then by the afternoon, I'm thinking, right, come on, let's push forward. We're swinging like a pendulum at the moment, I think.
Yeah, we really are. And we have to be kind to ourselves, but we also have to realise that we set up in business because we knew we were going to help somebody, we were going to share great services, and why would you stop doing it in our hour of need?
Yes.
And if you are doing marketing like I'm doing PR or whatever services you offer that you're listening to this, you're helping people.
Indeed.
And I think it's really important. And the way I kind of referred to it, earlier on the week, I was thinking you need to kind of support and report. So you need to support your community, but also report what you do to the wider community as well. And the news channels are still operating. In fact, we're probably watching the news more now. We're spending more time online. Now could not be actually a better time to learn new techniques, to consider PR, but actually get your message out there.
Yeah, I agree totally. Yeah. So what are your thoughts regarding, if I'm a business, and maybe I think typically people have probably put out the occasional press release, once every 6 months. Perhaps they've got a few local media contacts, and they've typically, particularly in small business, they've done it, but they've not really done it. Not really done it justice, I think. They've done some PR, but they're not specialists. They don't really know what to do, and they've half-heartedly done it often. So what are your sort of tips or thoughts on that?
Well, if they've done that, that's way ahead of the curve than most small
Yeah,
business owners.
true.
Because, the research that I've found for quite a few years ago now is about 80% of the corporates do PR and about 20% of SMEs do PR. So it's like we're frightened of it, or we don't know how to approach it. So if anyone is listening to this that have had a bit of publicity, well done. Congratulations, you are on the right track. Yeah. But if you haven't, it's just understanding how the media work. And I think the biggest mistake that people make is when they're writing their first press release, and I've done it, by the way. I was a business owner first and foremost that learned how to do great PR. So I'm not a PR agency. I'm dyslexic. I can't actually write a press release, but I've had loads of PR success because of this one thing I'm going to share with you. PR is about an emotional connection. PR tells, not sells. So what I mean by that is you're trying to connect with the audience, like your newsletters. When you send a newsletter out or you're sharing content and value, you're not just selling and ramming your services. You're giving them something they can genuinely benefit from. And a press release needs to be the same. It needs to be an emotional connection. So ideally, if we're all being truthful, if we write a press release, what we want really is them to give us coverage in the local newspaper or on the radio station, and to mention that we brought out this new product or service, and here's the link to the website. That's advertising. That's logical.
Yes.
You need story behind why your business has grown. You need the story of now how you're helping people through this difficult time, and how marketing is a great time to retain your customers but get ready to come out, when we're all hopefully out of lockdown. Business will carry on and is carrying on. If you're in business and you're helping people, I had somebody come on board with me yesterday that's she helps employers help them with their mental kind of welfare, and so that they're not in this lockdown and go maybe in a bad relationship or something like that. So she's trying to educate business owners, say, look after your people that you furloughed. So there's always a story and an emotional connection that you can get out there, and that's what the media wants. So the first thing is kind of connecting emotionally, and then the second thing is connecting to the right media outlets for you. So all of us hopefully know where our target market is, who our target market is. So if you want PR is not an ego thing. It's not about just getting on the radio for radio's sake.
No.
Sharing your message with your potential audience. So you need to connect your story to the media outlets that work for you.
Mm-hmm. I agree totally. I often say to people that one of the biggest problems, I, like you, have been doing this for quite some time now. I'm just coming up to my 25th year. On the 1st of May this year, I'll have been going for quarter of a century. It just feels amazing. I was obviously very young like you when we started, but I've been saying for years that the biggest problem facing most small business is the word obscurity. If you're Apple, then everybody in the world just about has heard of you. But if you're, a small company based in wherever, then nobody even locally has heard of you. When you consider that, we were just saying, I've got I can get marketing messages out with my email database and my social media contacts to about 90,000 people, which is a lot more than most, nowhere near as many as some, but a lot more than most. But there are 3 million business owners in the UK. And so I'm still, even with the level I am, I'm scratching the surface, really. And PR, I can get myself on TV or something, all of a sudden I'm hitting, millions of people, on radio, perhaps thousands or hundreds of thousands, and, sending out my email is only a small proportion of really what I can create from, a media campaign.
Yeah, and I think it's realising that the media are like you. They need stories and they need news sources. The way PR has changed so much over the last few years. I interview journalists all the time, so I interview editors of newspapers, producers from radio stations, and not just the regionals, all the nationals too. And they say to me, the way that the media works now is they're very reactive to what's going on. Whereas years ago they used to drive the news. They don't now. They react to the news. So we see what's trending and we react to it. So as a business owner, if you've never done PR before, think about, okay, where could I start? Where do I want to be? If you're looking for regional customers and you're maybe consumer, your local BBC channels are fantastic. And I know for a fact the producers sit down a couple of hours before the show, not because they're being lazy or lastminute.com, because they want to be on trend, on topic.
Right.
There's something in your business that you think, I could talk about that genuinely. I know that I'm helping people through this troubling time in some way, or, I'm manufacturing something that's helping the front line, people, those are the stories that the journalists want to hear about. They're always looking for new sources. So if it's on trend and it's topical, just approach them. Be brave and approach them. Yeah. You don't necessarily need a press release. You can just approach and say, in light of the trending news story today, I'm used to be a paramedic and now I'm helping people give advice on, I'm making this up by the way, XYZ.
Yeah.
I'd be interested to share this story with your listeners. You'd probably be on radio within half an hour, and it can all be done remotely.
Yeah.
Likewise, because everything's online now, the rise of the influencer and online is immense. So to put it into perspective, there's something like 60,000 journalists across the UK, and there's a couple of 100,000 influencers and bloggers and internet people. So the digital PR side is fantastic. So if you've got genuine content that you're sending out to your own community, you should be sharing that.
Yeah.
Influencers that again want content all the time.
Okay, now that links me into something that I think is really important. This morning I did a press release. You'd be very pleased to hear I did a press release, and it was about the coronavirus and what businesses need to do in order to overcome that. And I sent that out to my sort of magazine and newspaper type list, and then I took the press release, and then I said, look, I'd like to come on the radio and talk about this. But my problem was that, this went out to 38 newspapers and magazines and 18 radio stations. So I know you've got the opportunity to massively help people like myself to significantly expand on that, and my clients and people on my podcast. But tell me a little bit more about that and what you do.
Yeah, and I'll take a step back before I share with you, because this is the biggest thing that you'll hopefully take away from this. PR doesn't have to be expensive. PR doesn't have to cost a fortune. But perception-wise, we think it's going to cost a lot of money. Now, PR agencies or marketing agencies, just like you, Steve, they do a great job, but it doesn't have to cost thousands and thousands of pounds every single month just to get media coverage. So a lot of PR agencies or media agencies have access to a media database, and we're working together, Stephen. I know you've got access to this as well.
Yeah.
It's about targeting the right type of journalists in a way that I know you can build lists specifically now for your clients, in that you can say, right, I've got a client as a manufacturing client. What you don't want is a press release just ending up on the news desk. So when you were sending your press release out before, Steve, I know you've got some genuine close clients as well, but some of them are just news desks.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
They get lost.
Yeah.
You want to go to the business editor, the health reporter, the fashion journalists. So it's about targeting the right type of journalist. That's what we've done. We're working together, and I'm happy to help you. And that's what I do to my community. I really target it down for small business owners and solopreneurs that can basically afford to get a press release out to the right media contact. So you help them with writing it, but then you just create a list for them. So you're not having to spend time, building those relationships with journalists. We've already got those journalists in a database. That's the beauty of online these days. And that's what a lot of people don't realise, that it can be so cost effective to get your message out there. Right? You know, we do Google AdWords, and I'm not a kind of an SEO kind of person. You know, we spend and invest in lots of different ways. Just think about what you could do if you put a bit of that budget into your PR side.
Yeah. Fantastic. Just to let everybody know on the podcast today that, you know, Rachel and I are talking at the moment about you know, how we can work together. And one of the things that we're really looking to do as a company is to be able to offer this service. I've just actually employed somebody who's an amazing lady, a lady called Judy, who used to do all the PR for Take That. How cool is that? And that's a sort of claim to fame, and other sort of stars as well. And she's going to be, well, she is working for me, and we're looking at working with Rachel and utilising the what is basically the opportunity to segment and access these people, and then be able to offer a whether it's a monthly service or a one-off press release out to the market. So we'd love to know if that's of interest to anybody. So if it is, it'd be great. Just, you know, drop me a line or something, and you know, we can take it from there.
Yeah, I think all I'll say is, you know, it's so exciting. PR is so exciting.
Yeah.
And it's so cost effective, and it literally can transform. When I was in business, I've always been in business for 25 years, like yourself, Steve, and worked in the media. But PR was the bit side I didn't have a clue how to do. And I employed a PR agency from London and paid them quite a few £1,000s every single month. Yeah. And then I realised how I could do it myself. And it was at the time when my business was flying high. Back in the day, do you remember 2008?
Yeah, I do. Yeah. Who can forget it?
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah.
So I needed to PR to kind of be in a place where I really needed to get some money into my business.
Yeah.
So I launched my own National Working Mums Day.
Okay.
Survey and got all the results, and then I put the survey out because the news always need great news stories, and put the survey results out, and I got featured on one press release, 70 radio stations, 15 of which were live interviews, and it generated over £32,000 of cash to my business.
Wow.
And I've gone on to help thousands of business owners do the same through the little steps and techniques, you know, that we share with them on how to get your story, how to be a face to all these things that we don't think about, but actually are really simple when you know how. And if you've got the right contacts, work with someone like yourself that can help you put the story together, that emotional connection, and then just send it out to the right, it can be fantastic for any business.
Yeah. I see so many opportunities that we could work together. You know, we perhaps one day, you know, when things do return to normal, we could run a seminar together, you know, and or a series of seminars. That would be perfect. Yeah.
I'm speaking to someone else on Friday actually, and I've got a 2-hour. You know, we're doing a 2-hour training session.
Okay, yeah.
Work with people, because some people want to learn how to do it themselves, and then they want a combination of having someone to help them and get it out for them.
Yeah.
Service. Yeah. You know, and that works really well as well.
Yeah, and then obviously online, as you say, you know, and it's interesting. I think right now how. You know, the world is changing, and you hear things like, you know, how pollution has, you know, virtually disappeared. I think it's halved over China and stuff like that, and even the UK. Just looking out now, the skies are blue, and even the air smells different, doesn't it, to what it did? And you know, and you know, coming back more down to sort of online, people are much more acceptive. You know, we were just saying that my 86-year-old father and his wife, my stepmom, who's 91, are doing web meetings with me right now. You know, and that's just, you know, the world's gone mad, hasn't it? You know, and
Steve, as well, I think it's lovely that everybody's being more helpful.
Everybody's
got more time. And trying to be more understanding. You know, whereas before we've been on that treadmill of right, okay, what's my next thing? What have I got to do? And life's been going along and ticking along okay. But we are more understanding of, businesses are struggling at the moment,
Yeah.
Or some businesses are flying. Either way, it's trying to help each other through this.
It is.
Just sharing our kind of the value, that the support that we know in a cost-effective way that works for everyone. And it's about now just retaining and then all working together. Like we've just said, it will be great. There's loads of ways we can work together in the future moving forward. But for now, we just want to make sure everybody's every opportunity.
Yeah. My old boss, when I first, I used to play table tennis for England, many of you know, and my first boss when I retired, who worked for ran a sports promotion agency, he always used to have this saying. He used to say it really sternly. He used to say, "Steve, you must never miss a trick, never miss a trick." And he didn't mean that from you must always try and trick people. He meant it from you must always seize the opportunity. If there's an opportunity to pick up the phone and call a radio station, never miss a trick. Why would you not do that? Or if there's a great story that you can add to, then never miss a trick and go and do that. So I think right now, if you're in business and you're listening to this podcast, you got to look at everything that you do, not just PR, but everything that you do, and never miss a trick, because it's not easy. It's much more difficult now. And and another really important trick actually is that you've got to become better. You can't, if you've got, if you rated whether it's your PR skills or your marketing skills and said, right, 1, I'm absolutely useless. 5, I'm the same as most businesses. 10, I'm unbelievable. I'm like the world's leading expert in this area of marketing. Where would you rate yourself at the moment in terms of everything that you do? Because that's a really important question. Because if it's a 5, if you're the same as everybody else, what sort of rewards does everybody get in marketing? Well, it's pretty poor, to be honest. So, one of the things I teach and preach a lot is, if you're going to do this, you got to either, I love, do you know much of Tony Robbins?
Yes.
Yeah. So Tony's got this saying that I think really applies to PR, and that is, know what you want. He says the secret, this is Tony Robbins' secret of success. Know what you want, specifically, take action, measure to see if it's working or not. If it's not working, change your approach and keep changing it until you get what you want. But the number one thing, I think, which is part 5, is model success. And that is in other words, find somebody who's got what you want and do the same things, or perhaps find somebody who's already achieving the results that you want. Get them to show you or teach you what you need to do, and get the same results. And I really ran my life with that. I think almost and.
Without a doubt, and I think you can, following on from that, you can see what your competitors are doing. And sometimes we look at our competitors and think, I can't be as good as them. But why not? You are good at what you do. Well, I hope anyone that's listening to this is in business and truly believes in what they do, is passionate about it, has genuinely helped people, has solved a problem. That is amazing. It makes you an expert in what you're doing. Journalists just then want to interview you sometimes to share your knowledge to their customers. Yeah. And I think the difference between you and your competitors that are succeeding from a PR point of view is they're just putting themselves forward.
Yeah.
Please try and remember, PR perception is reality. If you get on the
right, I like that. Yeah, I like that. Yeah.
To think, oh my God, she's been on the BBC. I trust her more.
Yeah.
But it's actually quite easy to get on the BBC and they share their contacts. So one day you might be on regionally, and then the nationals have picked up on it. So it's exciting. Give PR a shot because it really does work. But it raises your profile, builds credibility. But most important this time as well, it does put cash in the bank.
Yeah, I was talking to somebody the other day who said they said to me, if there was one thing you could do, Steve, to grow your business right now, what would it be? And I said, well, without doubt, it'd be to get on TV. I don't think there's anything bigger, is there? Even with, the world of online and digital everything. If I could get on TV on a regular basis, I don't think there's anything bigger. So,
You do, as you know, and I think that's where I've seen you.
Yeah. Well, we've both been on, haven't we, with Business Connections Live with.
Well, I do all their booking for them.
Yeah. I mean, that's a fantastic program. And by the way, if you've not watched Business Connections Live, just go and Google it. Business Connections Live. It's like they call themselves the UK's #1 business channel, and it's fantastic. You get.
Steve, it's me that I do all the shortlisting to go.
Okay, right.
Or contact, get in touch with me because, we book everybody. And what we're doing at the moment is we're doing the remote interviews. So we're carrying on with interviews.
Yes, yeah.
So that you're doing it from.
But rather than going into the studio, yeah.
A studio interview, in the future as well.
Yeah.
So you get, but it is, but with TV on that note, and again, this is where we can help you all, and you can work with Steve and you have to think very differently for the different media outlets. TV, okay, with Business Connections Live, you're being interviewed as the expert, but most TV channels, when you watch the news, you have to think in pictures from a story point of view. What's it going to look like from pictures? So we'll interview the expert, then we'll go into the manufacturing factory and see what the widgets look like. And then we see someone that's benefited. You've got to think in pictures.
Yeah.
With radio, you've got to talk about a debate or a topic or very differently. And then with print, you obviously need to kind of view what their length of the article is, what their headlines look like, and mirror.
Yeah.
So you get PR. So those are just a few tips for you.
Yeah, brilliant. Well, we've just about come to the end of our time together today. So, just thank you ever so much. I know it was really useful to everybody listening today. Really appreciate that. I know you've got some programs that you're just developing at the moment, and they're going to be released in a couple of weeks. So watch this space. I'll definitely be promoting your stuff as soon as it's ready to be promoted. So. Thank you ever so much for your time today. We'll do it again sometime soon.
We'll meet again.
We will, indeed. Thank you very much. Thanks, everybody, for listening. If you want to know more from me, if you want to find out about how we can help you, both Rachel and I, and through Judy as well, then the first step would be to go to my website, which is www.stevemills.co. Mills is MILLS and then .co. If you go there, you can find all the information you need and look forward to hearing from you. So thank you very much for listening to the podcast. I'll speak to you again soon. Thank you.